Hi, everybody. Just waiting for some more people to come on. If you're watching, can you just let me know how the stream is in terms of video and audio quality? Because if it's, I've just, hey Stacey, I've just tried a few times now with streaming, and it just hasn't worked out. Excellent. What about the picture? Am I a bit laggy? Ah, good. All right. Well, we shall proceed. Okay. I catch my whiff. I might just wait a minute to see who else is on. Excellent. That's excellent. It's a good start so far. Hi, Mia. Hey, by the way, if you comment on here on the stream, and perhaps I know you from Instagram but don't know your name on YouTube, maybe let me know. You can, or you don't have to, but it's just like I don't want to act like I don't know who I'm talking to. So what I thought I would start talking about today, because I haven't done anything on YouTube for a while. Okay, we'll see how we go. If hey Joanna, if it starts to get unwatchable, we'll just call it quits. So we'll see. We'll do our best. I was going to talk about, and I want your thoughts on this as well, about what you think about, because it's clear that in this community of fragrance perfume lovers, there are people who really like to, who are what I would call collectors of perfume, and then there are people that are much more interested in curating what they have and only keeping bottles of things that they love and always want to have on hand to wear, which is kind of where I'm at now. Like I know some of you know this, over the last year or so, like I've basically halved the amount of bottles I have, and I've got probably about 60 bottles now compared to, I think at most at some point I had definitely over 110 bottles. And I want to say first of all that of all those bottles that I've moved on or gotten rid of, I can safely say that I have not for one moment wished that I'd kept them, even though there were a lot of bottles there that I really liked. At some point, some of those bottles I actually really loved as well, but I kind of fell out of love with them. So what I thought I would do, just to get this conversation going, and please feel free to comment or add to your thoughts or my thoughts, and ask me any questions about anything that I show you here today. What I thought I'd show you is because I have been recording my perfumes on things like Fragrantica and bass notes. Um, I can see the ones that I've actually owned for the longest time, and obviously the newer ones get added in. It's just the way I sort them. Okay, so all right. Hopefully it will unfreeze soon. So sorry about that. So what I thought I'd show you first are the bottles that I've actually had for the longest, and these are all because I actually didn't start buying perfumes in this amount until 2016. So I don't have any bottles that I've owned prior to 2016. And I'm just going to show you a few. And this is probably the bottle that I've had the longest in my current wardrobe, and that's Timbuktu. You can see there, and it's taken me this long to get that level down. And like none of these bottles. This is probably the bottle that I bought brand new that I've gotten closest to the bottom of pretty much. And it just goes to show you having a lot of bottles and rotating them fairly regularly in terms of wearing them. Like it takes you a long time. Like this is now well over 5 years. It still smells great because I store my bottles in drawers that are in the dark and they're not in hot conditions or anything like that. One question I ask myself about stuff that I've had for a long time is that when they eventually do empty, will I buy a new one? And I think with Timbuktu, I have to say, as much as I still enjoy wearing it, I think once this empties, I'm not at this point in time. I might change my mind. At this point in time, I don't think I would actually replace it. So there's that. In a similar category to Timbuktu is L'Occitane Eau de Bol. Now, I don't know if you've seen recently, you can still buy this perfume, but the label has changed. So they've redesigned the label, and I don't know if that actually okay, thanks, Troy. Yeah, well, I mean, you don't have to actually look at my face anyway. So, and I'll say what I'm holding up. So, they've redesigned the label, and I don't know if that coincides with any kind of reformulation of the perfume. I have to say, every time I wear this, I still really, really enjoy it. And I think I would rebuy this particular perfume as long as the newer version, because I'm not one to go chasing vintages and backup, and I don't buy backup bottles. As long as the new version of this smells the same to me, and I get pretty good performance from this as well, I would rebuy Eau de Bol. This is the cheapest bottle in my collection, and I almost bought it as a joke because it was so cheap, and I was just curious to see what it smelled like. This is Sex Appeal by Jovan. And look, I've always thought, as basic as this perfume is, and it probably smells a bit dated, and it kind of actually this is not going to make much sense, but it kind of smells cheap, but in the best way possible, if that makes sense. It's almost a kitschy perfume. And I'm happy to keep it. I obviously have not gotten rid of it, and I couldn't sell it anyway because, like, I may as well give it away for free, but I still wear it. I still enjoy it. However, look how much I've gotten through, and I just don't ever see myself. I'm probably likely to give this away ever before I finish it. So, sex appeal. This one is Comme des Garçons 2-man. I'm halfway through that bottle. I like when I have bottles that I specifically remember when I bought them. I actually bought this on my birthday. Hey, hey, Salome. I bought this on my birthday in 2017, and I still really love wearing this. I still think it's one of the more unique kind of incense aldehyde perfumes I have. I just wish one thing with Comme des Garçons. I wish they would just make a bottle that I can stand. Like this. I know they are different, unique, but these are the most impractical bottles to store because I put mine in a drawer and I have to lay it flat like that, and it really, really annoys me. I'll just quickly catch up with any comments. All right. Yeah, so catch my whiff. I've never been or wanted to be a collector. I have plenty that I liked early in my journey that, yeah, look, it's a practical thing for me because that's a big financial investment, not to mention if you're collecting, well, I mean, it's only a financial investment if you have to pay for your bottles, but if you're collecting, I guess it's good. Like I know some people like to have them there as reference, for reference, and that's a perfectly valid reason. But like at some point, I would just not have room for them anywhere, and it would actually probably stress me out a little bit. Last one of my oldest bottles. Now, I've actually worn this. Before I got this bottle, I went through a 15 ml travel size of 1740, and a lot of you know how much I love this perfume. It's one of my all-time greats, and this I would definitely rebuy if I emptied it. Eventually I will. And I would get, and what I would do this time around for a couple of these. Now, I tend to favor smaller sizes. So wherever there's a 50 ml, 30 ml, or 100 ml available, I would try and get the smallest size purely so I can, get through it. But for perfumes that I really, really love, and I always want to own, when I replace this, I'm going to get the bigger size bottle. So I will do that with perfumes I love, just so I know they will probably last me for the rest of my life, because I'm closer to the end of life than I am to the beginning of my life. Yeah. So sorry, cheese knife. Yeah. Video seems to be freezing again. Hopefully you can hear me okay. So yeah, just on this point, catch my whiff. I now with sampling, this is related to, I guess, how I buy perfume now, bottles, is I pretty much these days need to finish a whole sample. It doesn't matter. So, like usually I would get samples of this size, which is at probably 3, between 2 and 5 mil. And if I, I hope my smoke alarm's not about to go off. If I get through that, empty that sample, and I still love that perfume, I will more than likely put it on the wish list and eventually buy buy a bottle. And that kind of is a nice segue into the newest perfumes that I've added to my wardrobe. And some of these, I haven't actually bought many new perfumes recently, but some of these, I mean, one of these I actually bought early last year. Okay, look, I'm happy to go on as long as you guys can still hear me. I know it's not the point of a video stream, but I really don't know what I can do about it, because I've spoken to StreamYard about my internet connection, and it seems like my internet connection should be fast enough to handle it, but it's not. Although I may still have to end this stream because my smoke alarm started beeping. Okay, let's check and see nothing's on fire. Oh, okay. Maybe the universe is trying to tell me something. Oh, seriously? If that gets annoying, I'm just going to stop. Bellamy is one where I actually went through a 5 ml sample, and it's funny with this particular perfume. Initially I didn't love it that much, but as I continued to wear the sample, and this is the thing, I've stopped just giving up on samples of perfume after one or two wears, because I think it's definitely happened to me where I've fallen in love with perfumes, not until like the fifth or sixth, seventh wear, and realize that, actually this is really good. And that's what happened with Bellamy. So I finished the sample, and then I, kept thinking about it, and I eventually bought a bottle. And the rest of these are all perfect, all exactly the same scenario. This one here, not so much, because Trumpet Sandalwood Cologne, I never went through a full sample, but what happened was, a few years ago in 2019, I went to Italy. I went into a perfume store and tried a bunch of stuff, and happened to just try this. I mean, this is available here in Australia too. It's not like something that I only found in Italy, but I decided to try it just because I hadn't tried it. And it was one of these ones where I kept sniffing my arm all day, because I went in the morning, then I went about and did touristy things for the rest of the day, but I just kept doing this for the rest of the day. And it was from the Sandalwood Cologne by Trumper. Now the other ones went through a sample of The Afternoon of the Fawn by Etat Libre d'Orange, and I had to have a bottle. And I really, this is easily one where you might smell it the first time and just don't get what the fuss is about. And I was the same. And it took me like about 2 mil of a sample to get through to realize that this is kind of like unlike anything else I've ever owned or worn in my collection. Yeah, that's why I have the bottle of that. This one here, exactly the same scenario. Went through a big sample, and with Ensemble Mythique from Guerlain, the sample I actually went through was from the older style bottles. I can't remember off the top of my head what they were called, but then they were a lot of those perfumes were repackaged into these, and some people can smell differences between them, but I actually don't get much difference between this Ensemble Mythique and the other rectangular style bottle. So I'm very, very happy that I have this bottle. It's a really beautiful perfume if you haven't had the chance to try it. When I think of ambergris in perfume, particularly paired with aldehydes, like this is a great, great example. It's interesting you say that about Creed Viking, because I actually, when Creed Viking came out, I probably tested it about 2 or 3 times, and I decided that I didn't like it at all. And now I'm thinking I would like to revisit it again, just to see what my thoughts are now, and I would wear it for longer. It makes me think. I have been toying with this idea of re-reviewing perfumes, like really old reviews that I have on my channel, and redoing those reviews just to see how much my opinion has changed on those perfumes. Finally, I'm going to show you my very latest perfume acquisition. You recognize the packaging. So this, I had to wait until I was able to go to Europe last month to collect this. And this is only available in the big 250 ml size in Europe, in the Dior boutique. Au Noir, easily probably, like I actually went through a big 5 ml, at least 5 ml decant of this, decided that I needed the bottle. Look at that green. So this has been re-released, well, it has been re-released. I don't know how different it smells, if it smells different at all, but it's definitely not this rich green color that you have. But hopefully it still smells the same, because ultimately the smell is all that matters. That's a beautiful lavender. It's got spicy, like it's got this kind of licorice note, this coffee note, immortelle as well. Yes, yeah, jumbo size. So that I will have for the rest of my life easily. And I'm so happy to have it. So that was the most recent bottles. And of course, some of you might have seen, if you follow on Instagram, one of the main reason I was in Berlin was to meet Marie, who I've been working with on the Miskeo perfume. So I have just a sneak peek of one of them here. If you're following on Instagram, you'll have seen some pictures of the bottles that are going to be available from next month. End of August, the website will be live for pre-orders. All right, let me just see if there's any questions from anyone. Yeah, exactly. It's obvious, like, and it's not like you should expect, just because you like something now, you're going to not like it down. There are perfumes, obviously, that I have here. The purpose of showing you those old perfumes is the fact that I liked them or loved them then, and I still love them now. But all the perfumes that have come in and out of my collections in between, at some point I loved them or liked them enough to own, and then realized that I didn't care if I didn't have them. And it's actually quite nice having a much smaller collection now, just because I like being able to wear a perfume more often than I used to. Like when I had over 100 perfumes, there were some perfumes that I was only wearing 2 or 3 times a year, and like it just I don't know. It felt like I was neglecting neglecting them, or they would be better used as someone who would enjoy them. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, I agree, Kachmo, with those Privé Dior Privé cylindrical bottles are really really nice, easy on the eye. Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's it's a decision. You get decision paralysis when you're looking at a wall of perfume bottles and deciding what to wear. I actually envy people who can um, just wake up and like know like or have a feeling for what they want to wear that day. Whereas I kind of have to be a bit more systematic about um, what I wear. I try to rotate as much as I can, and like if I know I haven't worn something in a long time, it's going to be probably closer to getting worn uh, eventually. So my scent. Tell me what your scent of the day is. I'm gonna spray on some. Now that I've seen the bottle, I'm gonna spray on some Mythic. I love that cloud. That's an interesting method. So I'm curious about this. So you, I'm guessing you put a couple of different ones on each arm and go to bed. And is it like more about what you can smell in the morning, perhaps? Please elaborate. I haven't heard, Sally, I haven't heard of either of those perfumes. Maybe if you told me which brand they were. Mm, so good. Yeah, a lot of you guys are in the northern hemisphere, and it's just been a ridiculously hot summer. Okay. Um, oh yeah, I think I saw the picture on Instagram. Um, just on summer and winter, cool, hot season perfumes. Do you guys have any what's the word I'm looking for? Any surprise perfumes where perhaps they were made for a particular season but work really well in the opposite season? Ah, yeah, okay. I hadn't heard of that one, Aqua Allegoria, the from that line. I'm just trying to think of one for me that works really well in the summer. Like a cool Weber perfume that works well in the summer. It's usually that as opposed to a freshie that works well in the winter. Okay, so you would basically have a bunch that you have out and ready to use for when the seasons change, is how I interpret that. Ah, okay. All right. So this is an interesting comment. So I'm always curious about how people do this and classify it. So catch my whiff. So am I right in saying that you literally have, like a winter section, autumn, spring, and summer section of your perfumes, and break it down that way? And my next question is, how do you decide what goes in what? Like, I'm probably more interested in, what makes something autumn as opposed to winter, and what makes something spring as opposed to summer. I've heard very interesting things about that perfume, Troy. I haven't smelled it, but I've heard it's uh, presu- presumably that's a La Nuit's the one that doesn't is discontinued or vintage, and it's quite animalic. Am I right? Okay, I certainly couldn't wear Interlude Man in summer. I already have hard enough time wearing it in the winter. Oh, 400 bottles. Wow. Okay, so the Fragrantica seasonal classifications, like they're pretty, yeah, okay, I get that. So do you have like a roughly even amount for each season? Because I find if I'm looking at seasonal classification for my perfumes, I have maybe only 10% of them are like summer ones. All right, let's let everyone have a little bit of a flex about the amount of bottles in their collection. 400. We've got 200. Anyone? Can anyone beat 400 on here? See, someone closer to me. um, and and scented bookworm. When you have 30 bottles, how often do you find yourself actually emptying a bottle? I'm just curious. Beeps everywhere. Okay, seems like we've lost a few viewers. See, that's pretty. That would still be pretty satisfying to me, getting through one or two bottles per season. That seems pretty good. And do you usually replace the bottles? Have you been replacing the bottles that you empty? Troy, I get the feeling just seeing some of the stuff that you post on Instagram, that you have a very well curated perfume wardrobe. Okay, so does that mean you might replace it with a different perfume that you've been wanting to get? I mean, that's the advantage too. Like if you've got a small collection, you can give yourself the excuse to buy new ones. Cool. This is very interesting, guys. Thank you. All right. Well, I might give everyone. Yes, the, the fatal trap. I might give everyone a chance if you've got any questions for me to ask them, but otherwise, I might quit while I'm ahead and say goodbye. Thank you for joining me. I know it was very short notice. I decided to try the stream an hour before I went on. All right. Well, it's been lovely to see all of you here. Thank you. And in future, maybe, I mean, if we do this, if I thank you, if I decide to do it again, if any of you ever want to come on and have a chat, let me know. All right, I'll see you all soon. Hopefully, I'll upload a review on my channel soon. Okay, bye.